Can dogs swim in pools? Yes, some dogs like to get into the pool. However, many of them are not comfortable with it and get stressed when they get into the water. Some owners want to give their dogs a chance to enjoy themselves, but there can be problems if they do so without taking proper precautions. Dog swimming is more than just throwing your dog in the water and letting him go nuts, giving him a few canine freestyle lessons, or teaching him how to do the backstroke. Allowing your dog to swim unsupervised could pose several health risks that may even result in serious injury or death. It's true that most dogs love being in the water. If you have seen a group of puppies romping in the sprinklers on a hot summer day, then you know that dogs like to get into the water. However, not all puppies are good swimmers, and not every dog like getting into the water. If you want your pet to enjoy swimming, it's best if he learned how at an early age. Dogs who aren't taught how to swim as pups will often struggle when they find themselves in deep water and can panic or even drown because of their fear. Can dogs swim underwater? Yes, dogs can swim underwater. But some breeds are better swimmers than others. For example, water retrievers like Labradors and Golden Retrievers enjoy the water. They also love to swim. Smaller dogs like pugs or dachshunds might not be as interested in swimming around for too long without feeling tuckered out. But, if they find themselves in the water, they can definitely get around. The average dog has more hair than the typical human, especially breeds like Golden Retrievers who have a lot of furs to dry off. Dogs do not sweat through their skin as we humans do. Instead, dogs sweat through their paws and evaporate off excess heat through panting. Because dogs don't swim with an extra layer of blubber that helps keep other marine animals warm in cold waters, it is very important that your pet does not stay in the water for too long. Especially on hot days when you might be tempted to let your pooch cool down by taking them for a dip. Can dogs swim in saltwater? There is a great variety of opinions on the subject. Some people say that it is not good for dogs to swim in saltwater, whereas others maintain that all dogs have no problems with this type of swimming. So, who's right? The answer depends on the dog and its individual tolerance towards seawater. It is true that some breeds are more vulnerable than others, but even so, there are always exceptions to the rule. Saltwater is saltier than freshwater. The harmful substances that could potentially cause the dog harm, such as bacteria and viruses, are more concentrated in seawater and can easily be transmitted to a dog should it ingest the seawater. It should also be noted that there's a huge risk of ear infections after taking your pooch for a swim in saltwater. When you take out your pooch for a walk on the beach or go swimming with him, make sure you rinse his paws off as soon as he exits the water. This will prevent potential irritations from the sand and other irritating elements seeping through his feet. There's nothing worse than getting back home after an enjoyable day at the seaside and spotting red irritated patches all over your little friend's paws. You should be careful to keep a close eye on your pet for signs of distress. This includes anything from a change in behavior, especially if it is avoiding going near the water, to physical problems such as vomiting and diarrhea. If any signs of illness develop after you have been taking your dog swimming in saltwater, make sure you take him to the vet straight away. Can dogs swim while in heat? Yes, dogs can swim while in heat. However, swimming while in heat has its risks. Dogs will often go stir-crazy when they're in heat and may find an escape route, through a doggy door, for example, that allows them to explore your neighborhood without supervision. If your dog is inclined to wander, she'll be even more likely to do so while swimming. You might think, it can't get any worse, but I assure you it can. Heat adds a layer of risk to already risky behavior.